All right, living freestyle, go fast, turn left. I never really thought that I would end up being a race car driver, but who doesn't want to give it a try and see what it's like? And I found myself in the fortunate enough position that I had a short stint as a race car driver. And what had happened was in university, two of my friends who were brilliant engineers, one of them, she literally went on to design engines for racing teams. And the other, onto civil engineering, stuff like that. They happened to be working on the race car. I was like, wait, what? We have a race car? And they're like, yeah, it's a group of engineers that get together and, they basically build out this race car and it's part of the, practical engineering. And I'm like, well, can I drive it? And so, I think they pulled some strings, and before I know it, I found myself on the team driving the 5/8 Legends car for the university. Now, it was fun. We had practices and things like that, and the way that it would work is for races, we would actually go to NASCAR races, and basically at the NASCAR races, there's kind of like that infield quarter track, and the 5/8 Legends cars, what we would do is the universities would compete if they had one, and basically what would happen is in between pole position races or whenever there was downtime, they would have these little 5/8 Legends car races. And like I said, it was a 5/8 Legends car, probably 60 to 90 miles an hour, depending on how well the driver does and stuff like that. But it was on a quarter track, so fully banked and kind of wild. And as we would travel around and do these races, there's a few things that I learned that I'm going to condense down into one quick video, simply because it was a short stint as a race car driver. First thing I learned, I'm not a very good race car driver. So I think in practices and things like that I was okay, but when it came to actual races, something always seemed to happen, and maybe that's normal, but I think I brought the car back 1 out of 3 times, and I couldn't help but feel like the team cringed whenever I got into drive. So I remember one of them, one of the wrecks happened when another car drove over my wheel, because they're not actually supposed to be contact, and that didn't always work out, right? Rubbin's racing. The second one. So anyways, my second one was actually one of my second lessons. I didn't really think I would ever be able to say I know what it's like to drive into a wall at 60 miles an hour. But what happened was I got bumped in a turn, car spun out, and I went headfirst into a cement wall. And to this day, whenever anybody gets in a car accident or anything like that, knowing what it feels like to hit a wall at 60 miles an hour or more, and just the sheer force of energy that comes through the steering column and just like reverbs through your body, it was definitely a wake-up call. I definitely got rung. And fortunately, you had the whole side point 5-point harness on and the helmet and everything like that. So that was kind of the second, big memory, etc. And then I think the third thing that I kind of took away from my short stint as a race car driver was an appreciation for the amount of focus it takes to go fast, turn left. Right? I'm not saying I'm a NASCAR fan by any means, and it definitely up until that point, I was not at all interested in it, in the sense that I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. And after driving, so our races were 20 laps, all right? And so after driving the Legends car, I actually found it very difficult to maintain focus for 20 laps. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but in order to maintain focus for 20 laps so that you're constantly on the pedal, off the pedal when you need to be, all the gear shifting and everything, it wasn't the mechanics of the car or the steering of the car that was tough. It was the being focused, not losing sight of where everybody was, and maintaining that perfect curve around the loop for 20 laps repeatedly. NASCAR drivers aren't doing 20 laps. they're doing 500 laps. So my level of appreciation for their ability to focus and what they do in their careers like went through the roof after driving a 5/8 Legend car. And I don't think I would have even had that perspective if I had never had the opportunity to drive the race car. So overall, I learned a few things as my short stint as a race car driver. One of them being that, at least in my limited amount of practice, I wasn't very good at it. And I still cringe at the fact that I think the team cringed every time I got in the car. But I very much appreciated the life opportunity to be able to drive race cars for a little while and learn a few lessons along the way. So that wraps up Living Freestyle, Go Fast, Turn Left.